Alright, so a couple weeks ago I posted a video where I opened up about how I was feeling burnt out. And I could not believe the amount of feedback and just responses and messages that I got from that video. And I first just want to say thank you guys so much for just interacting with me like that. It means so much, and it really made me realize how common and just how often burnout actually happens to people, but no one ever talks about it. So today I'm going to talk about it since no one else will apparently, and I just want to share with you guys how I've been overcoming my burnout and feeling a lot better about myself and what I'm doing, and how I kind of regained that clarity on what I want to be doing with my life. So yeah, I just wanted to share my story a little bit more. If you haven't watched the first video where I open up about burnout, definitely go check that out before watching this. But I just wanted to share with you guys some tips and motivation and advice that has really helped me overcome my burnout, and share a little bit more about my journey and how I've been getting back into the sport that is my main sport and that I love so much, which is kiting. So let's talk about burnout. So I want to start out by talking about how for our entire lives we're always encouraged to do what makes us happy. And it makes sense. I mean, why wouldn't you do what makes you happy? But no one ever warns you about burnout, and no one's ever comes up to you and is like, oh, don't do what makes you happy too much or else you'll start to hate it, you know? So why does this happen? And my theory is that society as a whole is always encouraging us to do more, whether it's work more or just put more energy into something or just always do more. But there's a point at which that becomes too much. What I've come to realize is that there's a healthy amount of pushing yourself, and by taking breaks, you kind of maintain that healthy balance of drive within yourself to do what you're passionate about. Again, this is just my theory. This is kind of what I've come up with during my break. So for the longest time, I was one of those people that was always super competitive, doing everything 100%, and I would never half-ass anything, and I always just wanted to be the best. But at a certain point it became too much, and I pushed myself past my kind of healthy boundary of pushing myself, and I could have taken it in a really negative way, but I realized that it is one of the best things that could have happened to me, and I'm actually really glad that it happened, because now I can take from that learning experience and just apply it into my Olympic campaign, which I know I still want to do, and just into the future. I'm really just excited about how much I learned, and now I can share everything that I learned with you guys. So we're gonna go through this in 5 steps. And the first step, in my opinion, to overcoming burnout is just acknowledging that you're burnt out right now. And I feel like this can be kind of a negative thing, because it's not always easy to just admit that what you've been doing and what used to make you so happy just isn't making you happy anymore, or just isn't working for you anymore. Because like for me, it wasn't exactly easy to admit that, like, you know, traveling around the world and competing in kiting and doing something that I love wasn't making me happy. And it can sound cocky, and that's not my intention at all. I don't want to sound cocky or arrogant, and I'm actually, like, I am so grateful every day for what I've gotten to do and what I get to experience and what I will get to experience in the future. But just being honest with myself and admitting to myself that that wasn't making me happy was the first step to just this whole process of growth. All right, step number 2 is to talk about it. So again, no one ever talks about burnout, even though it's so common, and it kind of blows my mind. And obviously it's not easy to talk about, and like I said, it's not easy to admit that whatever you were doing wasn't making you happy, but it's more about personal growth and thinking about what do I actually want in the long term and what will make me happy in the long term. And I've always been a pretty open person, but sharing what was happening to me with my friends and my mentors was really helpful, and just hearing all of their advice and their experiences. There is so much knowledge and wisdom to be gained from talking to people about it. That was just really helpful for me, and I think it can be really helpful for you too. Step number 3, try as many different things as you possibly can while you can hopefully take a break. So I started out with thinking about what other things I wanted to try or improve on, and so I did some more strapless wave kiting, I started road biking, I learned to surf foil, I started winging, and I just did all of these different things that normally I wouldn't either have time to try, or that I had some excuse that I couldn't do, or whatever it may be. But so taking this break really forced me to try these other things, which was so much fun. And in the end, it also really helped my main sport, because now that I'm kiting a little bit again, I feel so much more comfortable on a foil. I feel like I understand my foil a lot better from surf foiling, and I can pump better, and my legs are stronger from biking. And it's crazy how these different sports can actually help you so much when you come back to your main sport. Another thing that I did is I started this YouTube channel, and I felt like before I always had these excuses, and in the middle of quarantine I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna try this, and maybe it'll go really well, maybe it'll go really poorly, we'll see. But this was just something that I wanted to try, and I didn't let myself make any excuses about it. Step number 4 is to separate yourself from what is making you feel burnt out. And this was probably the single most refreshing thing I could have done for myself. And all I had to do was just walk up to my race kites, put them in their little corner in the garage or in the room, and just be like, you know what? I just need to take a break. This isn't working for me right now. I'll be back at some point, but I just need some time away from you right now. And it just was amazing what that did for me, and because it just opened up so many more possibilities of what I could do with my time, and I didn't have that stress of training or racing, and I just let myself focus on doing other things. And it wasn't easy. There were times where I still wanted to keep my race kites and my race foil in my car, but I didn't let myself do that, because I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna let that be an option right now, because I want to do other things. Finally, step number 5 is just reflecting on yourself and what makes you happy. So I did a lot of thinking during my time off. I had to think about what I wanted to do, what made me happy, and what my goals were, and how those things aligned. And what I ended up realizing just over the course of my time off was that I do still really love kiting, and I want to do an Olympic campaign for 2024, and that is something that would make me really happy. But at the same time, I also found all these other things that make me really happy. And I don't want my entire life to be just kiting. And so taking this break allowed me to explore those other options, like I mentioned earlier, and just see what else made me happy. And I want to have those things in my life too. So now I know deep down that I still have that competitive drive in me, and that I want to do an Olympic campaign, and I want to keep kiting. But taking that initial kind of deep breath and asking myself what I really want was kind of scary, because, you know, for a long time, kiting and the Olympic dream was really what I wanted to do. And the idea that I could potentially realize that I don't want to do that was kind of scary, and it could definitely just, you know, turn a lot of your life upside down. So those are my 5 steps to overcoming burnout. I hope this was really helpful for you and that you guys learned something. And again, as always, thank you for supporting me and watching my videos, and I just appreciate you guys so much, and I've had so much fun, you know, just sharing my life with you and sharing tips and advice and whatever else. So yeah, subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm just gonna keep doing that, and I'm getting really excited for my plans for the next few months, and yeah, it's just gonna be a really fun time, and I'm really excited to bring you guys along with me. So that's that. The sun is going down, as you can see. It's getting really dark now, so I'm just gonna end it here. Thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!